Welcome into week 6 of our Game of the Week reveal show. My name's Ethan Love here, joined with Sydney Wicker. Sydney, we are 5 weeks in. Last week was a great one that came down to the wire. I mean, come on.
For our Game of the
43-yard
Week?
field goal? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so fun. Midway, Harker Heights kicking off district play, an undefeated Midway team, and a Harker Heights team that was proving that their 2-2 record didn't mean that they were still a good team, and that's exactly what they did. Is they took down Midway with that last-second field goal attempt. How crazy was that? I mean, Adrian seemed like he was having a blast out there.
Adrian always gets
celebrating.
turned up
He always
after the
does.
games. But seriously, ice in your veins to hit a 43-yarder with under a minute to go. And
Yeah.
a game that big, wow, just an incredible start to district play. Where else did you go on Friday?
Yeah, I was at the Shoemaker Temple game,
yeah.
and that was a great one. That was a really close contender for us for Game of the Week last week as well. And Shoemaker beat Temple for the first time in 21 years in that game, which
Wow.
was huge. It
They
was a
look
fourth
good.
quarter battle. Both teams looked so great. Shoemaker is just so legit right now. They look really, really good. Now they're 5-0 to start off the season, which is huge for them. Cannot wait to see what else they do and what else Coach Foreman has up his sleeve for these guys. But you've even seen Damani Del Addison and Jamal Polite Jr. The threat that the two of them alone brings is so lethal. And then you add in all the other elements that makes their offense and then that doesn't even touch their defense. And their defense is so strong too. Like, they're just such a good, complete team. And that really showed. And they ended their game with a game-winning field goal as well. So it was a Friday night for the kickers, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes, and I had some good action too. Colleen was so close to getting
I
that
know.
first win that they've gotten in I don't know how many days
It's been a while.
It's been a long time. Shadrach Gordon, one of our nominees for Player of the
Yeah.
Week, I watched him absolutely tear it up in that first half. He could not
He
be
looked
brought
good.
down, and the Kangaroos are so close.
They are.
But shout out to Copper's Cove for coming back after getting down 13-0 early and
Yeah.
getting that win. And then I went over to Lake Belton,
Mm-hmm.
and oh my goodness, they have a bug problem. They have a cricket problem at Lake
Yeah,
Belton. They were
yeah.
all over the place.
They are.
And I don't know. It was just kind of crazy out there. But
They're only going to get worse. I feel like September, October, you're
Yeah.
going to get the peak season of the crickets and all the jumping bugs. And there's nothing worse than when you're about to go live and one just jumps right on you and you're like, get off.
No,
Like, it's
literally.
so
Like, I
gross.
kept having them jump on me as I'm
Yeah.
trying to film, and there's a touchdown happening, and I just don't want a cricket to fly on me because I'm
Yeah.
gonna jolt.
Of course.
Because that's just how it goes.
Of course.
Um,
Somebody who didn't seem to jolt too much in that game, though, you were at was Maddox.
Yeah, he looked good.
Maverick Maddox, is that his name? What's
Yes.
his name? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. The Lake Belton quarterback, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, that kid was so cool, calm, and collected when he needed to be. They rallied back and scored 21 unanswered, I think, shortly after you left.
Yeah.
Is what I was reading.
When I was there, they were losing, and then
Wow.
they scored that one touchdown to put them ahead. It was 28-24 when I left and had to come back to the station. But yeah, they
Good
they
run.
kept it going, and they pulled out the win. So I guess
Huge
the
win.
Crickets had some magic.
We're calling Maddox, just so you know, Ethan, Madman Maddox from here on out. Because
Okay,
he's
all
just
right.
bringing the magic.
I'm here for
and
it.
I love it. So that's what we're
Well,
we
it
called
was
him that on
magic.
Friday.
The play that I got, the touchdown, it was 3rd and 20.
Crazy.
So I mean, hey, magic it is.
Absolutely.
I know I was talking about the Crickets, but something that's not going to be Crickets is our Game of the Week this week.
Of course. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah, I can't wait. 2 teams that are both 4-1, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right. Yeah, Sydney, we got Valley Mills taking on Axtell. Again, 2-4-1 teams going at it. Let's start with Valley Mills, the away team. We always start with them. Sydney, can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect from them?
Of course. Valley Mills, their offense has been electric to start the season, to say the least. They've had 3 shutout victories. 3 games where they've not allowed a single point, which is crazy. They've only had 1 loss of the season. That came to De Leon, where they lost 41-21. But this Valley Mills team has made such a good turnaround from last season, and that's something that we got to talk about with coach in practice today is, last season they were 3-7, and it was a really tough year for them. And then they came into this year ready to turn it around, and that's exactly what they've done so far to start off the season. And I mentioned those 3 shutout wins that they've had, but my first question to coach was, so with those 3 shutout wins, do we start by talking about the offense or do we start by talking about the defense? Because, they haven't allowed a single point, but your offense is putting up 40 points or more almost every single week. And here's what he had to say.
Really, we still think that our offense is really what makes us go. And our defense has done an amazing job. Been really proud of them. But right now, our offense has kind of been the train has kind of kept us moving. So I think they were doing things right, and then when you do things right, you give yourself a chance.
Yeah, and we're definitely not going to discredit the defense, Sydney, and we're not going to discredit Axtell either because they actually won this game last season.
They did.
So how can Axtell go ahead and make sure that they win this game again this season?
Well, that's something I asked their head coach about, Coach Horn. He pretty much just said, they're going to have to come prepared to stop the rushing attack and the power that Valley Mills offense does bring. But Axtell has a pretty lethal offense, too. Like, they're putting up some big numbers. Last season, Axtell won this game 54-34, so put up a lot of points in that one. They've continued to put up a lot of points so far this season. Axtell has had 2 shutout wins, but in the other 2 games that they've won that weren't shutout wins, they only allowed 1 touchdown. So same thing with them. They've got a really good defense that's been able to stop the other teams that they've played and avoid them getting into the end zone, which was huge. And for Coach Horn and the Longhorns, they've been on a mission since last season. This team made a deep run in the playoffs, fell short, falling to Hamilton in a close game. 15-14 was the final score from the playoffs last year. So they just continue to chip away. And for Coach Horn and the Longhorns, they say going into this one, they know that they'll be prepared taking on Valley Mills, but they like their chances.
Well, we've limited the mistakes. We had a little bump in the road early with Kearns, and since then we've kind of learned from that, and we talked about all 11 guys got to execute. We're not made by one superstar or 2 great players. It takes all 11. So with all 11 guys executing, it gives us the ability to be dynamic and score points.
Yeah, Sydney, definitely excited for this one. Is there anything that we need to know before kickoff is at 7 p.m. on Friday? Is there anything else we should know?
Well, I think it's interesting. Valley Mills and Axtell, they haven't been district contenders against one another in a while. In fact, the last time Valley Mills beat Axtell was in 2023, and it was in the playoffs where Valley Mills was able to win that game 29-18. So, these 2 teams haven't been rivals in their district for a long time, but I think with the intensity that both these programs bring, both starting off last week with 1-0 record in district play, 4-1 records overall, I think both these teams are really gritty and they're ready to pull out another win on Friday. So we'll have to see who gets the job done. But of course, Adrian Carvajal will be there to celebrate with our champions regardless.
He will be celebrating
our trophy. He always celebrates. Adrian wants a trophy himself.
We're going to have to get him one, like best game of the week.
Yes. The best game of the week celebration. Here's Adrian for jumping right into the pile. I think it's the best part's when we lose him. You're like, where did he go? You see the trophy, but you're like, is Adrian
and then
still
the
there?
thing is, like, his hand disappears from the trophy too, and he just gets lost in the mosh pit.
Yes, absolutely. But that's just one of the good games going on this week. We've got a lot of other good ones too. Ethan, you want to hear some of them?
Yes.
All right.
I'm excited.
Now, this one, I feel like this district alone, we could have a game of the week from every single week. Midway versus Shoemaker.
Oh, my gosh.
Does Midway respond, or does Shoemaker stay undefeated?
Such a tough schedule, too, starting out for Midway. Back-to-back Harker Heights and Shoemaker.
I know. It doesn't get tougher than that. So it'll be interesting to see. Shoemaker, obviously, still perfect, coming off that huge win against Temple. Now can they do it against Midway? So excited about that one. That'll be a really good one. Bryan and Coppers Cove go up against one another. Colleen and Harker Heights go head-to-head. Obviously, Harker Heights coming off a really big win over Midway.
Could be a trap game. The Kangaroos look good.
The Kangaroos are good. They're just knocking on the door of a win any day now, and we're ready for it. I don't want that to get mistaken. Like, you want that for these teams.
Yeah.
Nobody wants their last win to be almost 2 years ago. You don't want that for any team or any coach that you talk to. Like, we all know these people as humans and who they are and how important they want those things. Like, nobody wants to lose. And so the thing I love about those guys is that you probably felt this too, Ethan. They're so energetic.
Yeah.
And they're not, you don't see them having attitudes. You don't see problems with them. They're a group of guys who love playing and want to play for one another and just have kind of gotten unlucky.
Yeah, they pick each other up. And honestly, if you had told me that if I didn't know that they hadn't won a game in however many days, you wouldn't be able to tell by the way that they go out on the field, the way that they get hyped up, and the way that they play the game of football. It's they play with a lot of heart and a lot of passion, and you can tell that they want it so bad.
And we want it for them.
Yes, the Kangaroos gained a fan in me last week, that's for
it.
sure. They played awesome. But is there any more games?
That's a good chunk of the slates.
Okay.
The slate we got going on. So many teams are on a bye this week, so we're a little lighter on our Friday Night Lights schedule, but we'll still have plenty of games and plenty of highlights to get to. Some good Thursday Night Lights action, though. Lorena and Lampasas play each other, and
that's gonna
I'm
be a good
really
one.
excited to see how that one goes down. I believe it's at Lorena, too, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, that'll be a really good one.
Yeah, so we got a good amount of games for Friday, even with the bye weeks. And then, of course, we have all of our regularly scheduled programming as well in the sports world here at KCEN. We have KCEN Kickoff, which will be Wednesday night. We have, of course, our Friday Night Lights coverage. And then Baylor and A&M both have games this weekend. We'll have coverage from that. Baylor is taking on Kansas State. Should be a good one. And then we'll see if A&M can take care of business against Florida, who looks like they're just
Mississippi
struggling.
State. Florida's next week.
Oh, Florida's next week.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you're close, though.
Okay.
Mississippi State, though.
I'm overlooking Mississippi State. My fault.
As you shouldn't, because they took Tennessee into overtime last week. This is a really good Mississippi State squad who's really seemed to turn the page from last season. So it'll be interesting to see what they do when they come to town. I'm a little nervous for A&M in that one. I covered Mississippi State for a really long time, so I know what the Bulldogs can bring. But I also know how hard it is to play.
Yeah, and again, it's the
at
SEC.
night in Kyle Field, so yeah.
It's the SEC.
Any given Saturday, you never know what can happen. Also, Alabama Vandy play this weekend. That's one. I actually saw a tweet about this, Ethan, which I thought was funny. But, if you would have told me 2 years ago game day was going to Vandy versus Alabama, I would have laughed in your face. But yet, that's exactly where they're heading.
Diego
I think
Pavia,
that's so
he's
funny.
legit.
He's so legit. And Alabama, that was a huge win for them against Georgia last
Kirby
week. Kirby
cannot beat Bama. It's crazy.
It's funny.
Just when you think there's no chance that Georgia loses this one, they just find a way. It's ridiculous.
It's funny because when I interviewed Mike Leach when he used to be at Mississippi State, something he talked about is how he felt like his team would see the Alabama writing on their jerseys and get scared.
Yeah, they've lost their scare factor. They have.
But it feels like Georgia felt that way going up against Alabama. And I think about that Mike Leach quote a lot whenever somebody loses, especially the Bama team that we're seeing this season. It's like, is it just that you see that Alabama writing on there and you kind of back up a little bit or what? But yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
Excited to see that one in Tuscaloosa too.
Yeah. So we got a lot of good games this weekend in the college world as well. And then, of course, on Sunday, you can come right back here on KCEN for Sunday Night Football. It's going to be the Patriots taking on the Bills. Last Sunday Night Football, this past Sunday, was absolutely ridiculous.
No more ties.
Full overtime
No
game.
more ties.
Just to feel like we were cheated out of a great finish there.
What a great game for it to end like that. It was so disappointing.
Yeah, Micah Parsons' return to Dallas did not disappoint at all, even though his performance did disappoint a little bit. Packers, I'm sure, were not expecting to give up 40, and same thing with the Cowboys. But you always love a great offensive showing, and that honestly is the game of the year so far in the NFL. And it sucks that it ended in a tie, but hey, hopefully Bills and Patriots won't end in a tie this Sunday night.
I don't think it will.
But yeah, Sydney, I think that's going to do it for our Game of the Week show. We'll see you this week, Axtell and Valley Mills. It's going to be a great one.
Sure
we'll
will.
see you next week.
Friday Night Lights Game of the Week is sponsored by Astound, Members Choice Credit Union, and Hillsborough Ford.